Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, we are from Group 5. Now we will discuss about multicultural identity. So next slide, we have table of content. As you can see, we have identity, multicultural, figures 1, figures 2, figures 3, figures 4, and the last is artist figure. Okay, so next slide, we have identity. Slide. So about identity, the reality is that identifying, describing, and understanding one's identity is never straightforward. The notion of identity is a complex one and perhaps cannot be viewed as single and unified self. Instead, we operate using multiple shifting identities, and this notion of self identity becomes increasingly complicated the more interact with the external world. And identity is a complex, multi-layered notion of the self that interwoven and constructed between shifting dialectical contradiction as we interact with our surroundings. But it is clear that identity information differs between monocultural and multicultural individuals. Okay, next slide. Yeah. Next, we will have Mailani as presenter.
Okay, thank you, Hannah, for the time. So I'm going to continue for the presentation. The second is multicultural. Next slide, please. So multicultural individuals do not consider difference as something destructive, rather differences construct the hybridity. For these people, hybridity represents coexistence. I'm sorry. All right. I will continue. Hybridity suggests a conceptualize of home introduced comfort in homelessness, where one has no culture of origin. Hybridity retains a sense of difference and tension between two cultures, but without assuming hierarchy, one not dominate the other, and this continued exposure to intercultural adaptation allows multicultural individuals to attain a greater sense of interpersonal sensitivity. It is clear that multicultural individuals form is an especially complex communication system, divining themselves and their interactions with others, while the question, where are you from, may be straightforward for some, it may take a different meaning for others. Next slide, please. Okay, these are for the figures. Figures 1, next slide. Figures 1, Equatorial Guinea. Dad, the mom is from Equatorial Guinea and the dad is from Brazilian. His parents met in Germany. Few months after he was born, they moved to Brazil for 7 years. Then they moved back to Germany for 2 years. Then they moved to Pamplona and lived in Spain 9 years before Madrid for 4 years. Then he has been throughout for several months. He felt he belonged to many differences and different cultures. He is identified as such. He has learned throughout the years and perception of reality do not always match. There is a tension between them, and it's that the place you are not always fully feels the place you belong. At the same time, you feel that a place where you were is also a part of you, so you do not belong 100% anywhere. But at the same time, you belong to all these places. He said moving in between being an inside and outside sometimes bring a friction in your personality that makes you feel different and outside of any group. But there are some experiences at some points that make you realize that being different is actually something positive. Next slide, please. So this is for the figures two. Aisa would like to continue.
Okay, for the next figures, we have parents from Brazil, born in Peru. They lived in Peru for 2 years, then they moved to Switzerland for 3 years, Bulgaria for 2 years, Brazil for 2 years, Dominican Republic for 2 years, Portugal 3 years, Ghana 2 years, and then Spain for 3 years. He thought it would be accurate. It wouldn't be accurate to say that he just come from one culture, just from Brazil, because he has been exposed to many different cultures and he thought they all factored and made him the person he had. Some of the recognized struggles that he personally faced from being multicultural are mainly the ones of not really identifying himself for 100%. With any cultures, he thought that that's a struggle because a lot of times like the way people act in a culture or just like the way to communicate varies from culture to culture, and he felt like no really being fully from one culture, and it affecting because sometimes people might not really understand or probably he might not understand them. For figures number three, the third figure is from Minnesota, from United States, live in Spain. She still cannot describe what is multiculturalism is. From that we knew even she moved to another country doesn't mean that she know a lot about multiculturalism because she only or contact with two different cultures. For figures number four, father is French, mother is American, born in United States, have lived in Nigeria, Chile, and South Africa, France, and now Spain. He is a dual citizen, French and American. Spent his last summer in Wyoming when he was backpacking with a group of Americans. It was irritating because when he said he has dual citizens and live all over, they couldn't understand how that can be. He said people that are multicultural get to pick what they really like from certain cultures and put that into one thing that they define as their own culture. And next, we have Rani.
Thank you, Aisa. And last, we have artist figures. We have two examples of artist figures. Next slide, please. The first one is Lalisa Manoban from Blackpink's members. Lisa, the youngest member and the main dancer in Blackpink, born and raised in Thailand. Besides Thai, Lisa speaks Korean, which she started to learn after moving to South Korea in 2011, English, Japanese, and basic Chinese. Next slide, please. And last one is Callum Thomas Hood. Callum Thomas Hood is an Australian singer-songwriter and musician known for being the bassist of the Australian pop rock band 5 Seconds of Summer. His mother is from New Zealand and his father is from Scotland. Now he and the rest of 5 Source member lives in Los Angeles in United States. Next slide, please. Thank you. This is the end of our presentation. Have a good day.